Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this Fleet Latam webinar. I hope that you are doing well and that you are safe in these particular times. It's great to have you among us for this webinar supported by Targa Telematics. You see the topic on your screen, how Targa Telematics helps co-create new and customer-friendly mobility solutions in Latin America. For the people that don't know Targa Telematics yet, you will have the opportunity to learn about their excellence and their services in the next webinar. My name is Steven Schroefs. I'm the editor-in-chief of Global Fleet and Fleet Latam, and I will be your moderator of today in this exciting new Fleet Latam webinar. This webinar is for information purposes only, and this means that the content cannot be reproduced or redistributed without the permission of Fleet Latam and Targa Telematics. I am the moderator. I am not the expert, not on connectivity and not on Fleet Latam. We have invited three true experts. Today they are going to detail a little bit more what the marketplace expects in terms of connectivity and mobility. We have also insights about the services and developments that Targa Telematics is foreseeing for the Latam fleet marketplace. And finally, we have a customer testimonial of Chris Kirby of Tomorrow's Journey. So without no further ado, I would like now to introduce our first expert speaker. But important for you is that during the presentations of our experts, we will not have any Q&A. We have a Q&A session, a dedicated one, at the end of the three expert presentations. And if you have a question for one of the experts, you can send your question via the chat function in this webinar tool. So please be engaged, be interactive. If there is something that you would like to know, something that one of the experts has mentioned, where you have some doubts about, or where you would like to know a little bit more about, then please ask it via the chat function, because at the end we will have an interactive Q&A together with you and our three experts. And so our first expert speaker today is my colleague Pascal Serre. He is our Latam fleet expert. He is also the chairman of our Fleet Latam advisory board. And we did, together with Targa Telematics, a survey in the Fleet Latam marketplace around connectivity and telematics. And Pascal Serre has already the key results, and he is willing to share them with you. So Pascal, if you are ready, we are ready to learn more about the marketplace and what's expected in terms of connectivity and telematics in the Latam fleet market. And I think that you have some key figures for us. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct, Stephen. Thank you for the introduction. Good morning to most of you. Good afternoon for some of you. Nexus and Targa Telematics organized a survey in December last year to better understand how to help and prepare leasing and rental companies for the challenges and the opportunities that come along with an increased level of connectivity. The purpose of the survey was to get more information on the plan they have and their priorities, the challenges they are facing, and what are their expectations for the future. The survey was handled, as you can see on the slide, at the end of December, beginning of January. The opinion came from 34 representatives of the leasing and rental companies. All the leaders in Latin America participated in that survey, and most of them are international providers. We had 2/3 of leasing providers and 1/3 of daily rental operators. And all respondents were either members, guests, of the business networking group, the Fleet Latam networking that I'm chairing. They are all leading brands operating in Latin America. We can say that we had a good coverage. In particular in Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, and Colombia, where half of our respondents have an operation. Altogether, they represent around 760,000 vehicles, including passenger cars and LCVs. So now let's go to the results. But what we can say is that those results are interesting because all the countries are represented and most of the operators are represented. First thing, 90% of the respondents consider that fleet connectivity is either a priority or a very important topic. However, for the time being, the level of equipment remained relatively limited because half of the respondents, 33% plus 14%, have less than 20% of their fleet connected. And only 23% of their fleet have 30% of their fleet connected. At the same time, they say that by 2025, they will all have 62% of their fleet equipped with telematic equipment. So this is an impressive growth for the market. We should be 3 times bigger in 4 years' time. You can calculate the yearly growth, but it's an impressive one. I think this is the first thing we have to remember, impressive growth. Now, why? Because 55% consider it is a priority or it is extremely important to offer alternative mobility solution. And all new products like car sharing, carpooling, per use need a connected car. Nowhere you can go into the mobility new product without telematics. In fact, even today, 42% of our sample, representing 15 different companies, are already offering a car sharing solution, which is the most popular new product at present time. The other 2 important products, as you can see in this chart, are carpooling and pay-per-use. Pay-per-use, sorry. What for the future? For the future, another 28% of the respondents plan to develop a car sharing solution, 38% a pay-per-use solution. Altogether, more than 75% of the market plan to offer innovative and efficient mobility solution requiring connection. It is one of the reasons why we can expect an explosion of the market. The market requires innovation. Remember, this is the second aspect to remember. Another important topic is that telematics will allow TCO improvement and increase safety through driver behavior on existing corporate fleet. For 80% of our respondents, telematics will influence driver behavior and as a consequence, increase safety. It will reduce cost directly or indirectly, and in 60% of the cases, reduce TCO. But finally, in 40% of the cases, it is considered as the best solution to recover cars in case of theft. Actually, this is where telematics started in Latin America as a solution for ensuring theft. Okay, so we have 2 good reasons for the growth. But now, what are the challenges? The main challenges are obviously investment cost. All innovation requires an investment, and initial cost could be an obstacle. This has been mentioned by 60% of the people responding. At the same time, innovation does not guarantee an immediate return, immediate benefit for 55%. So even if they consider that there is a return, they are not sure about when the return will happen. Surprisingly, confidentiality and anxiety of the driver are mentioned only by 35% of the respondents. Because I know that in Europe, this is a main concern. It seems not to be such a big concern in Latin America. If we look into how this happened, we can see that 90% of the leasing and renting company are using external provider and only 10% of their own solution. And if we are talking about loyalty, we can see that 25% are still looking for an optimum solution, and they might change supplier. So as a conclusion, what are the main immediate benefits of telematics? This is driver advice to improve behavior for 100% of the respondents, data to be able to offer preventive maintenance. It is cheaper to maintain than repair. And in 85% of the cases, 75% of the cases, sorry, it is a good solution for theft. So no doubt, the market for telematics will grow at a double-digit rate for the coming years, pushing cost reduction and supporting innovation in the mobility field. So this is a good news for Targa, I believe. So Stephen, you have the floor. Please for the presentation.
Thank you very much, Pascal. Some interesting figures indeed. And for the people that would like to know more, please let us know via the chat function if you would like to know more about this survey. And if you have a question for Pascal, also send it via the chat function, because at the end, we will have that animated Q&A together with our experts. Before I hand over to our next speaker, perhaps one more question for Pascal Serre already, our Latam expert. Based on the figures that you presented, it seems that the move of Targa Telematics into the Latam fleet market comes exactly at the right time. There is a marketplace that is interested in connectivity and mobility, and at the same time, apparently also, there is a need, let's say, to use telematics and connectivity for services around driver behavior, safety, and mobility. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We can see that for the coming year, we can expect more than 30–40% growth on this market. And there is a need to improve the product. The fleet managers want to reduce their costs. And obviously, telematics is the only way through the new product to achieve what they're looking for, security and lower costs. So I think it's an excellent move, and I would like to congratulate you.
Okay, perfect. So then we move on with our second expert speaker, and that is Jet Tabet of Targa Telematics. He is the head of international sales at Targa Telematics, and so he can explain us why Targa is moving into the Latam fleet marketplace and what their unique selling proposition is in terms of connectivity for mobility. So Chat, thank you very much. Thank you also for the support with organizing this webinar together with Fleet Latam. It's great to have you. And so, yes, together with the audience, we would like to know more about your services and your move into the Latam fleet market. So let's hear what you have to offer.
Sure. Well, thank you very much, Stephen. Thank you also, Pascal, for bringing up these results to us. It's definitely a good time for Targa to invest, put a lot of effort in the Latin market. Hello to everyone also, and thank you for attending this webinar. So I'm Jad Tabet, Head of International Sales at Targa Telematics, and I'm really glad to be here and have the opportunity to present how Targa helps its partner and clients to take advantage of connected car technology. And I hope that in the next few minutes, you'll have a clearer sense of how we can help you to be successful in your connected projects and businesses, what market approach we have adopted as well, and the value that we bring. So if I click, I think it should change. I'm not sure I have the control over the slides. Do I?
Yes, you have. Normally you should have.
Yeah. Well,
yes.
All right.
Perfect.
So we at Targa, we are positioned as a technology company, very much focused on scalable innovation and operational excellence. This means that whatever service or feature we build, we do it with the scalability in mind and with a detailed consideration in the way the service will be operated and managed, either by us or by our partners and clients. So we have increased the robustness and quality of our solution by focusing on key high volumes and high demanding markets. And we'll see these shortly in the next slides. So what are the markets that we have specialized in? So over the past 6 years, as you can see here, we have experienced a really successful growth because we decided to concentrate on bringing the technology layer and also the application service to all the players and the businesses that are willing to compete in a connected car related industry. So as you can see, we are now in a phase of global expansion. Originally, our commercial footprint was mainly located in Europe, but we are rapidly expanding with deployments going from USA to New Zealand. And actually, we should still update this map with projects starting in the Middle East, in South Africa as well. That said, Latin America is for us a really great growth opportunity. We have project starting, and we have also 2 offices due to be opened soon in Mexico and Argentina. We also have built some great knowledge in how to open operations, and we are now, we have really clear processes for deploying these operations, identifying, partnering, helping partners and clients so that they can rely on our technologies to build their own service or even use our own application layers towards their own customer. So, yeah. So I was talking earlier about the reasons of the growth we had the last 6 years. One of the reasons is that we focused on specific market segments and the ones that we think we had the most value to bring. So by having a clear sense of the pains and that these partners or customers were facing and the gains we could get from connected vehicle technology, we designed our solution really accordingly. So here you can see the main references that we have. So on the different markets. So the leasing companies, quite high volume of vehicles here. So these are brands that most of them are the very big, I would say, in Europe. Some of them are also present in Latin America. Short-term rentals as well. All these brands are today customers and users of our technologies. We have specialized also in large corporate fleets. When we say large, is over 10,000 vehicles. So if we take Poste Italiane or Media Post, we're talking about larger than 10,000 vehicles. And we have some markets that we started in by opportunity, the construction machinery rental, the airport handling as well. At the beginning, it was by opportunity, and we saw that we were bringing great value in these markets. So we did address them, and it's growing quite a lot. And I could say that, in the airport industry, even if it's it's kind of difficult these days, we nevertheless did deployment going from the US to New Zealand. So it has been quite successful so far. And I hope that soon, when things will get back to the new normal, I would say, telematics will be a really useful tool to switch back on the machine. Other markets, the car makers, where we integrate our solutions with. I'll have a few examples I'll show you afterwards so that you'll see it's quite concrete. Financial services companies, distributors and car dealers as well. Insurance company, particular market. I know that from one country to another, it's always a little bit different, but the core information is pretty much always the same. It's the way we process it and use it for the services that is different. And also mobility operator, where we see a lot of traction with the car sharing. So, Targa, what it is about? What is the technology? So, okay, we're technology provider. What is the technology? So, we really provide the end-to-end solution, and we allow our partners and clients to define at which level they want to place themselves, to what extent they want to use our technology. So it's composed in the following way. Here we have in the middle what we call the Targa Open Mobility Platform. So basically, it's a platform that provides all the features essential to any connected car application, and it's designed to allow an easy integration with third party, and it complies with the most demanding cybersecurity practices. So based on this, we can either offer access to these features to third party developers, clients for integration of the vehicle data into their information system, or even use our own application. So here we can see the main ones. So on the left-hand side, fleet management. So in the fleet management, we have a set of applications and features for the fleet managers, in the sense of for day-to-day operations optimization. We also have different set of features for asset managers. So it's not really the user of the fleet, but more like the owners. So they want to make sure that the maintenance is well done, and also to make sure that the residual value of the vehicle at the end of the operations is at its maximum. On the right-hand side, you have the insurance technology, so InsurTech, where the car data brings a tremendous value to optimize insurance coverage, improve customer service as well, access to the accident reconstruction, and also for them it was important to innovate on business models. And I'm sure that it's more and more common to see new offers with pay as you drive or pay how you drive. In the middle, and actually one of the subjects where we have really a lot of traction on these days, and it's kind of really, it's a great subject, it's a great market, is the car sharing. And I would say all the keyless related services, it's a really, really strong trend at the moment. So our solutions are perfectly suited for what we prefer to call keyless technology, actually, rather than car sharing, because with keyless, we do public car sharing. We include also corporate car sharing. We also enable vehicle rental with digital check-in and drop-off, typically without the need to go to the rental desk. So it's quite interesting for rental agencies that can extend their availability out of the normal business hours. So, a lot of interest in car sharing. Now, let me display a few references to illustrate what was I presented just before. If I click here, yeah. So based on Pascal survey and the results, I wanted to put a few names around the alternative mobility solutions that the respondent were saying they're going to be investing in the next coming years. So typically when we talk about car sharing solution, these are really a few examples. So Rent-A-Car, Luxottica, the car sharing. So Rent-A-Car is a rental, short-term rental company providing car sharing service. Luxottica, you know, the Ray-Ban and all the pretty big company where we have corporate car sharing deployed. The car sharing Roma here is the example of the public car sharing in Rome, because Targa is originally Italian. And also LeasePlan, which is a long-term rental that also implement car sharing solutions. So the raw feature is pretty much the same, but there are slight differences on the way the service is actually delivered. Peer-to-peer solutions here with iLink that is provided by Leases, so it's user-to-user, and Pop Move as well, that is with ALD. Pay-per-use rental solutions with Jeep Miles, so typically for users, you know, consumers that don't think of using their car or driving a lot with their car. They use it, for example, only the weekend, and they use public transportation in big cities to commute. Well, they have the possibility to get a nicer car at a cheaper rate and pay as they drive. So their leasing rental is variable depending on the way the amount of miles they do. On with Flee, pretty similar, and other examples here, which is the deskless rental with Elifast, My Fleet Manager, which is Fiat Chrysler Automobile, or I would say Stellantis now, because they merged with PSA, where they are reselling the fleet management solution under their own brand for their own customers. So, car sharing solution, I was mentioning this, LeasePlan, Rent a Car, and the Rome car sharing. The peer-to-peer solution, I invite you to have a look at the website. It will give you a bit more information on how the service is delivered. The pay-per-use rental with Leases and Flee. And as well, to finish the, did it work? Yes. The deskless rental and the My Fleet Manager. And yeah, so just to illustrate the collaboration we do have with some partner, I think that the next part of the presentation, we will have a sense on how we can assist and the interest there is to rely on Targa to build your own services or operate your own services. Stephen?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jet. Thank you for the presentation, also for the insights. And already from my side, a lot of success with your expansion into Latin America. But as you were mentioning, it's always good to have a hands-on testimonial of a customer, and you invited a customer, a very interesting customer. Chris Kirby is the co-founder and CEO of the company Tomorrow's Journey. But I think that the journey with Targa Telematics already started. So it's not a journey for tomorrow, if I understand correctly, Chris. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah. We've been working with Targa for a number of years now on some really successful projects. So, yeah, thank you very much for making the introduction and for inviting me today, and thank you for Targa for choosing us out of a wide range of customers to come and speak to this audience today. We're very excited and feel privileged to be able to talk about some of these projects. Just to continue, just the introduction slightly, Tomorrow's Journey, I believe in the Latin America market is probably new to some people. So to give some background, we are a software provider in the mobility sector. We're building bespoke solutions for companies to deploy new and advanced business models. So that's really all we do, and we're doing everything from car sharing type solutions, digital test drive, all the way through to car subscription and longer term models across Europe and actually in Asia as well. And really today, I just wanted to spend a few minutes talking to you a little bit about how we use telematics in the projects that we run, and how we work with Targa on those really. So just to give you an introduction, let's double check I've got control. Yeah. There we go. Lovely. So just to introduce you kind of some of the principles for tomorrow's journey, really, and the reason why we're doing what we're doing. Our software really is focused on building customized propositions for mostly existing automotive providers, although we are working with some new market entrants as well, to allow them to create new business models. And we recognize that each company is different. And that means that each journey needs to be tailored to the individual customer base and user type. The other thing that's really key for us is, and again, where telematics is super important, it is about maximizing the utility of an asset. So we recognize that in mobility, things become more flexible for the consumer, which is great, but actually that makes things more expensive and more difficult to manage from the fleet operator's perspective. And that means that our system is very much built around allowing different business models to be built from the same fleet, and for the vehicles and assets to be optimized within those business models. And the final thing really is just, and I'll talk a little bit about this in some of our examples, is optimizing the operational processes in the background. So I know Jad talked about scalability. For us, lots of the products that are in the mobility space currently look very good on the website, but actually the operational piece is lots of spreadsheets and pieces of paper, and we're very much about trying to automate the operational process in the background, which will allow scalability of these products as customer demand increases. So just talking specifically about, oh, one too far, just talking about mobility and telematics more generally here. So really the main point that I wanted to make here talking about telematics is that in our experience and kind of mobility products is all we do as a business. We aren't running a single project that doesn't have telematics involved. But also telematics has lots of different roles to play depending on the type of access and the type of product that's being supplied. So I've just shown very broadly this kind of timeline here, and we're working on projects everything from, an hour's access or 1 or 2 hours access to the vehicle, all the way through to multiple year access. The project we're doing in Asia, I think 7-year leasing is on the table for one customer. So within all of those processes, telematics is very important, but they're playing different roles at different stages. Again, Jad talked about remote access being really key for some of the short-term access. For kind of medium term, it's more about the tracking and the driver performance. And then in the longer term aspects, it can be really about trying to enhance the insurance capabilities and drive insurance costs down. So this for us is the main reason why we use telematics in all of our products. It's also the main reason why we partner with Targa as a telematics company, because they're able to support us across all of these different types of use cases, and their kind of range of software and hardware really dovetails across this proposition. Usually a project starts with me sending Tom, who is one of the guys in the UK, a text message to say, Tom, I've got this project, what device do you think we need? And that's usually where these conversations start, and that for us is really helpful, because often I'll still be on the call with the client while I'm talking to Tom. So these are really great things for us, allowing us to roll these types of projects out. I'm just going to touch very quickly on a couple of different projects just to demonstrate what I'm talking about here. The first one is working for a car manufacturer, an unnamed car manufacturer, although you can tell by the image that I've used which car manufacturer this is, to digitize their test drive process. So they recognize that really for two reasons. Improving the test drive process is very important for them. Firstly, this thing called COVID is meaning that contactless test drives, in the UK particularly, dealerships have been closed now for 4 months, I think, and only customers are allowed to visit when they're collecting vehicles for service or for sales. So a digital remote access test drive solution is very important for them in the short term, but they also recognize that for electric vehicles, customers being able to experience the vehicle for more than a normal a couple of hour process becomes really beneficial. So we were looking at extended test drive programs for them from some of their locations within shopping centres. So for this, we use the Targa device that allows remote access on the vehicle. The customer's fully onboarded through our system. All of the driver checks are automated, so the customer's driving license is validated. We check with the license authority to make sure they're not banned. We provide fraud and credit checks all in real time, so a customer arriving at the dealership can make the booking, onboard themselves and access the vehicle within about 5 minutes, and that's all working seamlessly between our software and the Targa platform. Then another project, actually probably one of the most exciting projects, the least exciting picture, but the first 4 vehicles were 4 red Nissan Leafs, much to everyone's amusement within the project. But we're working with an energy company in the UK to provide a package offer to ride-hail drivers, to Uber drivers, which includes an electric vehicle, EV charging and insurance. These are typically 2 to 12 week rentals that the customers are taking. And again, we use our digital onboarding process to automate bringing the drivers onto the platform. And here we use a different Targa device that's really focused around managing very accurate vehicle handover. So to capture the charging information and mileage at the point of handover, which again is all automated between us, Targa and the delivery agent, but then also for us to be able to check charging events, so we can ensure that customers are using their charging package just for the vehicle that they're renting, so they aren't charging other vehicles in the same with the same charging card. So we're using Targa's data to match the charging events with the events on the card, and we're doing that in real time. And we're also helping to calculate some of the driver savings as well. And then finally, a company that is a mutual customer of us and Targa, and actually the company that introduced us to Targa a number of years ago, LeasePlan. We're actually rolling out for them a subscription service now in the UK, both for their franchisee network and directly to consumers. And these vehicles will be fitted with the telematics devices to improve the insurance capability and the insurance offering with these vehicles. So again, a different type of device. It's a different use case, but still really important for us. So hopefully that's useful. I wanted just to share some of the ways that we're using telematics, and hopefully you guys can see how both telematics is key to some of these new business models, but also where Targa's flexibility really is beneficial in that kind of work. And yeah, happy to answer any questions from anybody about this topic. But thank you again to Targa and to Fleet Latam for the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for giving us some use cases around telematics and connectivity and enhancing mobility through technology. We will now start the Q&A together with our 3 experts. If you have questions for them, please send them via the tool. I will moderate the most interesting questions. And I already have a few here in front of me. Would like, of course, to start with Jet. Jet, you mentioned that you will soon open offices in Mexico and Argentina. Does this mean that at the moment you can't take any services yet for Latin America?
No, actually we do, and it's still at an early stage of trials that we are deploying. So we are currently in a state where it's really the beginning of the opportunities detection. We have a few of them, and we're still doing trials. So we don't have today a commercial service operated by any a customer or a partner, but we have very interesting and advanced discussions already engaged that are definitely putting us in a stage where we are investing in opening offices.
Good. And when do you hope to open those offices in Mexico and Argentina?
The first one will probably be Mexico, and it's we're talking about weeks,
Okay.
and a little bit more weeks for Argentina, but it's still weeks, I would say.
Yes. Good. Great. Just for the people perhaps in the webinar room that don't know exactly what you are offering, because you were talking about telematics, you were talking about the open platform. I'm going to be, let's say, the unknown fleet manager and ask you a few questions. Do you offer both the hardware and the software, or is it one of those two things?
We do offer, it's really an end-to-end solution, so we offer both of them, yes. Okay. We offer the hardware. We have a complete hand on the hardware, and this is also very essential when we get to in projects for large corporate, for example, where customizing the software that is in the hardware, the firmware basically, is sometimes necessary. So we have the full hand on the onboard software. We of course have a full hand on all the servers, so what I was calling the open mobility platform, the Targa Open Mobility Platform, and we also have a full hand on our application software, whether it's web applications or vertical applications to address car sharing or fleet management mobile applications. So typically, if tomorrow we have, I'm going to take two different examples, a company that is actually owning a fleet and would like to have over, I don't know, 1,000 vehicles, wants to have a fleet management application, they can be ready to go. We can offer the whole solution. Or we could go through a partner that has already some activity or some software deployed within one of his customers. I would like to add fleet management to it. They could connect using the APIs that we offer on our mobility platform. So they integrate the data of the connected vehicles within their existing application.
Okay, interesting. So your technology is also compatible with other technologies that a customer might already use from the past in other countries or other regions.
Exactly, and you know, as I was showing several customer references, you can imagine when you have big fleets, you don't have an homogeneous fleet. So what we tend to do is try to manage homogeneous fleets, heterogeneous fleet in an homogeneous way.
Good. Chris, straightforward. Why did you select to collaborate with Targa Telematics? Because it's not the only technology and IoT provider across Europe and even beyond Europe.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question, Stephen. I think there was a number of reasons, really. We, in the kind of 3+ years we've been doing Tomorrow's Journey, we've worked with a number of different telematics providers, usually from where customers have existing relationships. But really, we never found somebody who really understood what we did as a business and kind of what value we were bringing our customers and wanted to work in a complementary manner to what we were doing. I think we found lots of the telematics companies were quite traditional in their outlook around selling boxes to go in cars to track them and to provide data. And we found Targa were an excellent provider in their flexibility and also their kind of understanding of the market and understanding of what we were doing, really. So it sounds slightly cliche, but the partnership approach, the example I used of being able to drop Tom a text message and say, hey Tom, what do you think about this? Is the kind of thing that is really beneficial for a dynamic startup like ours. And we feel like that Targa has the ability when and as we grow to also support us as well.
Okay. Pascal, you mentioned that connectivity and telematics is undeniably important for the control of the total cost of ownership. Do you then see that it will become also necessary for fleets, small, big, large, to deploy telematics through their fleets wherever they are?
Oh yes, absolutely, because if you want to control something, you need to have data. And the data is not a per se objective, but it's what the service you get from the data you have. And this is where you need to have several kinds of providers. You have the hardware, you have the software, and then you have the service, like Chris was saying. It's a complex world, actually, where some companies are competitors or partners, but at the end of the day, what is important is to be able to share a car and to know who drives the car, to make sure that the fuel you put in the car is that the fuel the car is using, to avoid any kind of mismanagement for the cars, because the only car you can make sure about is the one which is yours and you drive. And nowadays, more and more people are not driving the car their own, and they are sharing cars. So if you want to make things happen properly, you need to have data and service provider to make sure that this is worked properly. You don't want to pay for the others.
Okay. A question first for Jet, and then Chris, if you can also comment on the answer that Jet will be giving. Do you feel that you can benefit of having a partnership with, for example, an OEM in South America that offers API connectivity to its vehicles, providing a complete data set of data? Chat.
Yeah, definitely. It's, I mean, as I was saying a little bit before, we're trying to provide a way to our partners and customers, a way of managing heterogeneous fleets in an homogeneous way. So heterogeneous fleet means several things, and this includes the ability to integrate OEM telematic solutions. So we are currently already integrated with, of course, FCA, with PSA, with several manufacturers, so that we can normalize all the data and build or offer to through our platform what we call microservices that are actually some features that are more specific to some market segments. So the short-term rentals have their own. The long-term rentals have their own. For corporate car sharing, there's a set of microservices dedicated to this. And we are the somehow abstraction layer that allows the service developers, service operators to use the cars as if it just was a software, you know. So we put the cars in the cloud, we make them accessible through APIs or through different types of interfaces, so that the whole operations of the service and creation of the service are easy.
Okay. Chris, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting area. Clearly, lots of vehicles being produced today by OEMs have inbuilt devices within them. In our experience, having access to that data and that connectivity is difficult. Not technically difficult, I would say politically difficult. We didn't talk about my background previously, but I had 15 years working for OEMs in the UK and Europe prior to this, and I know how difficult these areas can be. As an example, we're one of the car manufacturers we're working with to launch a program for them in Europe next year. Even though the vehicles are being built with inbuilt telematics, we're talking about putting Targa's telematics devices in because it's easier to connect than it is to get their head office to provide access for us to do the work, which is crazy because it's a large investment, but it's something they need to do. So we understand some of the challenges around that, but I guess also the same as Jad is saying, that our system can take in multiple devices on the same vehicle, access information in different ways. But I think that we're a little way off having open data from OEMs on vehicles, because I think that's being relatively held close at the moment, and I think will for a while.
Good. Jad, do you offer a trial with potential clients? And if yes, what is a good sample size, the number of vehicles for such a trial?
Yeah, we definitely do organize trials, because it's in many cases the way of entering into a relationship, understanding how we could work together. Because all our partners today and clients are partners and clients that we have since a long time. So we always invest at the beginning, and Chris can testify about this. We always invest at the beginning in the relationship as soon as we believe in the whole project and the adequation with the market. So in terms of size of the trial, it's difficult to answer because depends what are the objectives of the trial. Mm-hmm. If it's really technical trial to understand if it's feasible to collect this type of data to enable this and this feature, then we have a different team that will be able to demonstrate that the feasibility over a single vehicle would be enough. Now, if we want to make a trial to see the adoption, for example, in a company, then we'll define, okay, what are the objectives of the trial? Okay, it will be on a subgroup of people and a subgroup of vehicles, and maybe 10 will be fine to show that, okay, usability of a pool of 10 vehicles for corporate car sharing is giving good results, because you have 30% economy in the fleet usage, and the usage of the vehicles generate that much savings. Mm-hmm. So it depends, really. It's something that we all the time analyze. We have quite a large number of business cases that we can attach to, and so we could also help in defining the possible expectation we could have for each trial.
Okay. Still a few questions for you, Jad. The first one is, of course, we saw also in the presentation of Pascal that there are some questions about the return on investment. What can you say? At what moment will it become beneficial for a fleet manager to have your services in their fleet?
Yes, I mean, it's getting, the fleet management is getting more and more mature. So whether your question is about, pure fleet management, you have many different, on the web, you can find, some will tell you it's 10%, 15%. It can be even more, and it really depends, honestly, on the type of organization that is equipping itself with fleet management. I give you a very simple example, well, a simple example with like a manufacturer. When we work with FCA, we deliver connected vehicles data differently to remarketing department. They use the data for some activities. We give it to sales. We give it to the accountant. We also give it to the maintenance. They use it in a different way. So every department within an organization depends on the adoption of the usage of the data. The impact and the savings will be different. So unfortunately, the answer is it really depends. But what is sure is that in any industry, whether we're talking about automotive industry or the web industry, when you take Amazon, they know exactly the whole business, how it happens, from the behavior of the consumer on their website. Did he go scroll up, down, click left, right? How much time he spent on the website, and then until the way the box is delivered and how much time it took to deliver the box and through the whole logistic chain, they have all the data for this. So in any business, whether it's this one or any other, if you need to optimize, as Pascal was saying, you need data.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have data, you just cannot optimize. Because if it works, you don't even know why it works. If you don't have the data.
Good. Final question is for Pascal, because it's related to the infrastructure of the Latam market. We saw that Targa Telematics has projects not only with corporate clients, but also with municipalities and governmental customers. The question is related to that. What about the infrastructure and the governmental support in Latin America? Are cities and countries ready in Latin America to support telematics and perhaps also mobility initiatives that need telematics?
Okay, well, I can't answer for the municipality, but what I can say is that there is certainly an urgent need to improve mobility in big cities. The situation in cities like Mexico or Sao Paulo or Rio de Janeiro is really very bad. There is a lot of traffic jam and theft of cars. And there is an urgent need to improve. People are spending sometimes 4 hours to go from home to the office, 8 hours a day to be working 6 or 7 hours. So it's a drama. The situation of the big cities in Latin America is worse than it is in Europe. So there is a requirement for improving it, and certainly through those new mobility schemes, there is a demand. Whether or not the municipality have the resources to help, it's another topic, because there is also financial problems in Latin America. The municipality will support, but they will support politically, that's for sure. There are a lot of companies in Latin America, like leasing company, OEM, and startups, a lot of startups willing to work on improving smart cities. So there is a market there. Whether it will be a public market or a private market, I don't know, but there is a willingness and a requirement, that's for sure.
Okay, so once again, Targa Telematics comes at the right time into the Fleet Latam marketplace. We have to end this engaging webinar here. Thank you very much to our 3 expert speakers, Chris Kirby, Pascal Serre, and Jet Tabbitt. Thank you very much also to Targa Telematics for the support. And once again, we wish you lots of success in Latin America, Jet. Thank you. You see also on the screen that this webinar will be recorded or has been recorded. And so it will be made available online later on globalfleet.com. So if you would like to relive the expertise of our experts, you can in the upcoming days, because we will give the recording version also of this webinar, and you will receive a short satisfaction survey that we would like you to fill in, because of course we would like to hear what you thought about this webinar and perhaps, if necessary, improve our future webinars together with Targa Telematics. And so finally, I would like to invite you also for our upcoming webinar for Fleet Latam, and that is on the 18th of February. You see, Latam is really an exciting marketplace, and there we are going on the 18th of February. We are going to talk about finance and about integrating all your business lines into one and the same system, and we do that together with Sofico. So thank you very much. I hope to see you soon, and I wish you a good afternoon in Europe and a good day in Latin America. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Stephen.